We're live on Substack, and happy Tuesday to you. And welcome to another episode of Coffee and Chat with Sue, where I just share some of my day to day life, some of the musings that I have about my dogs and about life and about nature. And today I'm talking about a topic which I think is actually pretty common out there for most people, although they don't like to talk about it or share about it. And that is my dog is a pain in the butt. My dog is demanding. My dog is needs my attention a lot. Um, and we obviously have dogs that do this. Some dogs don't. My Layla, for instance, is very undemanding in that sense. But Charlie is. Charlie is incredibly demanding. Always has been and still is. And some new little behaviors have developed as he ages, which I find quite amusing, but also very irritating. So I'll say it. I'll say it out loud that my dog is sometimes a real pain in the butt. But those to me, those pain in the butt moments are exactly the moments that I say to myself, right, go and think about this, contemplate this, see what is there for me to learn in these circumstances or about this behavior or about myself, etc. So that's exactly what I'm doing, and that's what I wanted to share today. So it starts early in the morning. Charlie comes to wake me up, and he is my alarm clock. I don't need one. He comes spot on around about 6 o'clock in the morning. He comes to my bedside and he starts making little whimpering noises. And I sort of turn to him and say, "Good morning." And he usually wants to then start licking my hand. So he can just put his head sort of over the edge of the bed and he wants to start licking my hands. And he's not really a licky dog as far as, in other situations, but for greeting in the morning, this is his little ritual. He wants to lick me. And best if he could have access to my face, he would lick my face, but I don't give him access to that. So I allow him to sort of lick my hands for a while. And when that feels a little bit irritating, because it does, um, I'll stick my foot out the end of the bed, and he'll go to my foot, and he'll start licking my foot. And I think this is really just it's a very sweet thing, and I know he's just greeting me, but I don't like to be licked by dogs, and I'll tolerate it for a little while because I think it's endearing, but it's not something I like. And Charlie will lick and lick and lick and lick, and he won't stop until I say, "Thank you, that's enough," and pull my foot away. All right. And that could be easily 5 minutes of licking. He gets quite obsessive about it. So, that's what I have to say. Thank you. That's enough. And I put my foot, away so he can't reach it anymore. And it may sound like that's a typical behavior that's attention seeking or a greeting behavior that's gone a little bit too far, perhaps, and we would label it as such and maybe say, well, I need to stop this. It's not okay, for instance. But let's go a little bit further than that. Then we have meal times. So meal times have become a huge a huge thing for Charlie. He loves his meals. He always has, but now as he gets older, it's like seems to be a highlight in his life. So he comes sort of 1 to 2 hours before the meal time, and it's usually when I'm sitting at my desk or I'm doing some kind of work, and he'll come to me and he'll do the same thing. He'll whimper and he'll look at me and he'll move in closer. He moves his butt really close to me. So he'll turn around and put his whole side of his body against my chair or against me. And it feels like he just wants some tickles and some attention. And I say hello and I give him a few tickles, but he doesn't. That's not what he wants. That's just to get my attention. And then he'll walk a few steps and he'll turn around and just stare. And that real border collie stare where he's just doing that. And you can feel the energy just coming off there. So it's, yes, Charlie, I hear you, but it's only like 2 hours to mealtime. And by the way, I have adjusted his meal times. I mean, he gets fed really early in the morning now, and he gets fed at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which used to be a mealtime at 7. So I have brought his meal times down, really to meet to meet his needs, as it were. But still, he'll come to me 1 to 2 hours before his meal and sort of say, "It's mealtime." And, then he will stand at the door and he will turn circles and he might just whimper a little bit, whimper, whimper. And I say, yes, Charlie, I know it's like, another 5 minutes to go, another 10 minutes to go, another whatever. And so he has this ritual, and it can be extremely irritating when I'm busy trying to do something or finish something. um, it can be quite irritating for me to then get up and see to what he needs, right? And again, it's possibly not the time for that. So that's, greeting in the mornings, it's meal times, then it's going for walks. As again, we have a sort of set time that we go for walks a couple of hours after breakfast, and he'll do the same. He'll come and find me with wherever I'm doing. If I'm doing my quiet time meditation or if I'm doing sitting at the computer, doesn't matter where I am, he will come and find me, and he will again sort of start with the whimpering, this that border collie stare at me like this, telling me it's time to get up and move. Now, that's just some of them. Another one is standing in front of me when I walk through the house. So if I get up to go somewhere, and let's say it's not mealtime or whatever, the moment I get up to do something, to go and make myself a cup of tea, to put some washing on, to do whatever, he'll be there and he'll come and position himself in front of me and he'll kind of just stop. And, so like he blocks where I want to go. And, I'll say, "Come on, Charlie, and move forward." And he sort of looks back like with these like eyes like, "Oh, why are you pushing me out the way?" And I say, "Come on, we're going this way, this way. Or I need to get to XYZ, or I need to do this." And then he sort of gives way, but he does this, pretty regularly. Now, all these behaviors I've seen in clients' dogs as well. And they'll actually come to me as a trainer behaviorist and they'll say, my dog is demanding. He's attention seeking and he's constantly trying to control my movements and tell me what to do. And this is not good behavior. And he's being dominating and all these things. And this is what I hear them saying about these kind of behaviors, and I experience them too, but I don't see them like that. I don't see them as demanding or controlling. I see them as really clear communication and persistently good communication. So what do I mean by this? I mean, like, let's say when let's say when he comes to get my attention and he moves next to me for what seems to be like pet me, give me attention, and then 2 minutes later he'll walk just out of reach and then he'll turn around and just stare at me, and when I get up he rushes towards the kitchen. So that's clear communication. I want you to get up and I want you to move to the kitchen, because if there is any food in on the kitchen counter, human food, dog food, it doesn't matter, if it's there during the day, it means it needs to be eaten, as far as Charlie's rules go. We don't have food on the kitchen counter or on the stove if we're not gonna eat it, right? He'll remind me several times a day that there may be something in the kitchen that's on the counter. He can't get to it, but he can smell it, that he needs to get to. And so it's really clear communication, right? And he's ingenious in the ways that he's learned to get that communication from me. So let's go back to the licking my feet right in the morning. So yes, it's a way of getting me out of bed and a way of greeting me in a very sweet way in his way of greeting me. But he also knows that that licking, that when it goes on and on, gets irritating for me. I say, that's enough, and I get up. So it works for him, right? It works for him because he knows I'm going to start getting up and getting out of bed. And not too long after I'm awake and made my tea or done whatever I need to, the dogs get fed. So they get let out to go to the toilet and they come in and then they get fed. So he knows food time is coming imminently. And so he's learned strategies on how to communicate that it's time for him to be fed. So really, I want us to just be able to to shift perspective on this, right? And to actually see our dogs as, when we see them as demanding and attention seeking and what we think is dominant behavior, like the stopping me, where I want to go. I think it's not he's not trying to dominate me. He's not at all a dog that has any kind of dominating tactics with other dogs or anything. He's just not that type. He's just really headstrong. That's what I call him. He's very clear on what he wants. And by controlling my movement, he can suddenly stop me and direct me towards the kitchen or towards something. Like, for instance, he loves, loves, loves when I start working. When I start working, not on the computer, but when I start doing household chores, when I start cleaning and doing the laundry and going out into the garden and doing garden work, he loves that because he feels like he can participate, and he does. He brings his toy along. He helps me carry the laundry to the washing machine. When I'm gardening, he brings his toy and he puts it in the in the garden bed where I'm digging. So he loves to participate when I'm doing active chores, when I'm doing active, stuff at home. And so he will try and direct me to those particular areas, right? He'll direct me. Let's go out into the garden and do this. Let's go to the laundry. Let's go to the kitchen. That's his way of communicating. It's really clear and it's really clever and it's really creative. He's developed creative ways of getting my attention. And one might say he's very impatient, but I see him as incredibly patient. Why? Because he'll come to me and like I said, it could be 1 to 2 hours before the mealtime, and he'll start saying, "It's mealtime," and I'll say, "No, it's not. It's 2 hours to go. Come back in 5 minutes and tell me." And he literally will. He'll sigh and lie down, and 5 to 10 minutes later, he'll do exactly the same little ritual, come to me, put his body against my side, one tickles, move away, turn around, stare at me, whimper, and I say, "Not now. We've got to wait another 5 minutes." And he'll walk off, he'll lie down, and 5 minutes later, he'll come back again. So I find that incredibly patient, really. He doesn't throw a tantrum and say, "Well, that's the end of that." He just keeps coming back every 5 to 10 minutes to remind me. And when the hour's up or whatever, then we'll get up and go to the kitchen. So yeah, I just think it's fascinating. It's fascinating the way we label some of our dog's behavior. And yes, I do get irritated sometimes. Yes, I do say, "Enough now. I need to finish something. Just leave me alone." And he will go off, and 10 minutes later, he'll be back again reminding me yet again of what he wants to communicate. So these dogs are, so going back to what some clients will say to me, "I need to train my dog because, he's demanding and he thinks he can get everything when he wants and how he wants." And there is a certain part of it that is related to rewarded behavior gets repeated, and that's how dogs learn. But they certainly don't understand our humanness when we say that we mustn't give our dogs what they want all the time because they will be spoiled. They don't, that doesn't, that's not part of dog psychology. They don't understand that. They don't know what you're trying to communicate with that you can't have everything because otherwise you're going to be a spoiled brat, or you are controlling and demanding of me, things like that. They don't get that, right? They're just doing something because they feel that's what they need to do. That's what feels good to them. That's how they get what they want. That's how they're expressing their own needs and their own desires, right? And also bringing in the dog's personality. Charlie is a border collie Springer Spaniel mix. He's got those intense behaviors, that intensity in his communication um, that he has. It's part of who he is. It's part of his character, and he's remarkably accurate. I mean, every person that's ever met him said, "My God, he's so clear with his communication, exactly what he wants." And he's learned that. He's learned to communicate in a way that gets people to do what he wants them to do. I think it's ingenious. I really do. So again, going back to how um, how I deal with it is just that. I sort of say to Charlie, "Thanks for letting me know." I'll give him a little tickle. I say, "Yes, I get that, dinner time is in an hour or two, or I get that it's walk time, but I just need to finish my email." And I do that. And I just tell him, just hang 5 minutes is my thing. I just say 5 minutes. And he understands 5 minutes is go lie down and come back in 5 minutes and irritate me again. So, yes, that's what I wanted to share about today. So, if you have a dog that's annoying or demanding of your attention or seems to be, you know, feels like they're trying to control you, it may be part of their breed, it may be part of their characteristic, but look at them from a different perspective. Look at them from being incredibly clear communicators. And they are ingenious in the creative ways they come up to communicate what they want, and to get their needs met. So, yeah, bring some humor into it. Try try to bring some humor into it if you do have a dog like that, because I do believe that if we do the opposite, which very often, don't give them what they need, a dog like Charlie is going to just think of another creative way of coming to get my attention. He's not going to give up. He's very persistent, and I know that there are other dogs out there the same. So rather rather go with their characteristics, find the humor in it, and find the ingenious communication abilities that these dogs have. So I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for listening if you listened live. I'd love to hear your comments and your feedback if you have a dog who's pretty demanding in your life and, yeah, how you see their behavior. So thanks again for listening, and we will speak to you soon. Bye for now.